this teaching and these instructions that we get from spiritual teachers that we should manage to banish all negative thoughts. A negative thought comes into your mind, shift it to something else. As if negative thoughts were evil and we had to push them away. But first of all, we all know that what we resist persists. So if a negative thought comes and you just pretend that it doesn't exist, it's just going to sit somewhere in your body, and at some point, it's going to want to come out. Hey, beautiful. How are you doing today? So I want to talk about the idea that it's okay to be sad. And it's okay to be depressed. And it's okay to be lonely. And it's okay to be happy and to be joyful and to be grateful. You know, we are multidimensional beings, and we are emotionally complex human beings. Our bodies, our system is designed to feel emotions. It is part of our energetic system. Emotions are energy in motion, emotion. I've heard that before. You've probably heard this before as well. I didn't come up with it, but it makes sense, right? So feeling all these emotions is fine. The problem, like I mentioned in my last video, is when we hang on to one, mostly negative, emotion and start making it our identity. And let's be honest, we have more of a tendency to hang on to negative strong emotions than positive strong emotions. It's like this paradox of good habits are hard to keep and hard habits are so easy to keep. There's a There's a wiring in our brain that makes that, and there's different explanations for that, but whatever they are, it kind of is. So when we have negative emotions and they inhabit us and they're powerful and they drag us down, we tend to identify with them more than the positive ones. And also, people around us who witness this tend to identify us as somebody who is sad, somebody who is depressed, somebody who is negative. Like I said in the last video that I posted, I talked about the fact that I was exhausted, lonely, and that I was just tired of my life. And there are parts of me that are, but it doesn't mean that it's all that I am. It doesn't mean when you feel these feelings that it is all that you are. We can have part of the day where we are allowing ourselves to feel difficult, negative emotions. And then we can easily move on to witnessing beauty in nature, a kind gesture or a thought that actually brings us upward and lifts us. And it's okay. It is how we are designed. And I think it's also important for us to allow ourselves to fluctuate like this and feel everything. There's also, when I said that we have a tendency to identify with the negative feelings, it's also like it feels weird if we were just really sad to suddenly just turn around and feel a lot of joy. It's like if you're sad, you're crying, or you're having a fight, and then there's something that makes you smile. We kind of hold that smile because it's kind of inappropriate. This is not a time when you're supposed to laugh. You're crying, or something bad just happens. But they're all energies, and they circulate through us. And it's normal, and we should really allow ourselves to move from one to the other. And there is also the idea that we call the uncomfortable emotions, negative and bad ones, and the ones that are, make us cheerful, the good ones. But if we took away judgment, can we conceive that in a way they are all equal. One is more comfortable, one less comfortable, but they are just on the spectrum of emotions. And we are here as spirits having a human experience. And the more of these that we experience on this scale of emotion, the more of a full life we are actually living. So I know that they're not fun when it's the bad emotions, but let's at least pull off the judgment that we have towards ourselves and allow us, if we feel like being joyful the next minute, it's fine. Let that be. Let us feel it, experience it, embody it, and it's all okay. And kind of an adjacent idea around this, as some of you know, I'm a little bit of a rebel sometimes in regards of some of the spiritual teachings that have kind of become norms that are now unquestionable. And it's this teaching that we get from spiritual teachers that we should manage to banish all negative thoughts. A negative thought comes into your mind, shift it to something else. As if negative thoughts were evil and we had to push them away. But first of all, we all know that what we resist persists. So if a negative thought comes and you just pretend that it doesn't exist, it's just going to sit somewhere in your body, and at some point it's going to want to come out. Emotions and thoughts, it's kind of the same idea. So we often hear by those teachers that if we follow the program perfectly, then we will achieve X, Y, Z. The subtext, the unspoken part, is that if you don't succeed and you don't get the things that you could get, it's because you did it wrong. And there is some shame and some shade thrown that often make us feel like we're inadequate, like we can't do things right if we don't manage to change all our thoughts. And if we're feeling depressed, to say, no, I'm not depressed. And if we're having a negative thought, no, it doesn't exist, I'm just going to switch it. Well, that doesn't work. That is just like trying to color the top of the iceberg that sticks out of the ocean a different color, and it doesn't address anything of what's underneath. So we really have to be careful about that. I actually speak about that in a little chapter in my book. Always a little self-promotion. If you're not willing to promote yourself, then why should you expect others to promote you? I have a little chapter that is called Kingdom Thought. And in there, I talk about this imaginary country where negative thoughts are like thugs that if they show up in a gathering of positive thoughts, they can throw the entire assembly in turmoil just because they show up. And I end by saying, I want democracy. I want to live in a country where the team that gets one extra point is the team that wins. So I just want to say, take comfort. It's not about banishing every negative emotion and negative thought. It's about having more of what we want in our life, just enough more just to tip the scale in that favor. And I know it goes contrary to a lot of teachings, but I remember some time ago, it was Esther Hicks that was talking, and I just caught this little piece. And when she was channeling, they were saying, oh, don't worry with your negative thoughts. The positive ones are so much more powerful, you don't even have to pay them any mind. And I had thought, that is so refreshing. It kind of confirms the way that I think. So let's remind ourselves that we live in an inner democracy and that we're doing all right, even if these rogue thoughts exist in our midst. And as I just mentioned my book, there is something that I want to say. I know I'm biased, but the way that I wrote the book actually has hundreds of little chapters and sub-chapters, and it makes literally hundreds. And it makes it a read that even though there's a lot of content in there, and quite a bit of laughter and self-deprecating jokes. I'm not afraid to show what I'm thinking. So if you're interested, it's a memoir, and it's for all of us who feel like we don't fit in and kind of feel like we may be the only ones thinking the thoughts that we're thinking. And it's to make you feel and make us feel like we're not alone. You can go to the page that I'm going to link, where you can download the first 60 pages of the book for free and see if it's for you. And of course, it's available on Amazon, all the Amazons. So the conclusion of this video is relax, you're human. You're having a human experience, and what you're feeling is fine. Not always fun, but fine. Give yourself permission to feel it all as quickly as you want to go from one to the other. It doesn't make you a flake. It actually makes you healthy, because when we do that, it shows that we are finally connected to the energies that are circulating in us. And it is healthy because it means that we're not repressing and ignoring things that are there. So actually take pride when you're feeling a bunch of things. They are there and you're attuned, and it's a good thing. So let's relax, have the day we're gonna have, and just live it fully, and we're fine. I want to tell all of you who have sent me messages in the last video that I did, you uplifted me. It was so wonderful to read and receive your love and encouragement. And all of you who said that you would be with me on my birthday. And I want to reassure all of you that even though I'm going to likely spend it alone, I make these days good. I will take myself up the canyon. I will go get spring water. I'm going to go to nature. I'm going to treat myself to some things that are yummy. It's going to be a good day. And I actually already started celebrating my birthday week by, drumroll, getting an oil change to my truck, which I love. It feels like I'm doing it some good, and it brings me joy. And oh my God, after that, I even went and filled it up with premium gas. And it was like I was receiving it because I was giving it to my truck. And I even plan on going to the manual car wash and making my big blackberry, is what I call my car, really nice and shiny to celebrate my beautiful day. So thanks a lot. Share this video. If you know of people that can benefit from these messages, please share, bring them in. We're building a community. It's making me feel so good that this is happening and we're all gathering here. Keep coming. I'm welcoming you, and I feel so much love from you, and it fills my heart. I love you. I'll see you next week. And I don't know what I'll post. Well, you would already know, because if I post something on my birthday, then it's going to be a few days ago once you see this. Anyway, kind of weird. Bye. Again, love you.